Yeah, I just retweeted that shit. I was dealing with this.
Real talk, the Metaphor Messiah, man. I got this one. Let's go. You ever seen the morning star? Mr. Metaphor Messiah, back to show you who we are. I represent a legacy, up high here like the 70s. A different kind of mind, they say we only speak in melodies.
What's going on, everybody? As you can see, winter is here, and so are we. That's right, brand new show for your faces. It's the copious Game of Thrones review, reaction, and spoilers cast, and I'm joined by my good buddy, my Catch 33. What's that? Yeah, it's still a thing. Catch 33 cohort, the one, the only, the Lord Vega. What's going on, pal?
What's up, man? What's up?
Dude, man, this seems like it's preordained, like this was supposed to happen. You, me, Game of Thrones. I mean, damn.
Yeah, look at that overlay. I like that.
Yeah, Guncannon. Oh, Guncannon just came in his pants. Guncannon just...
No, it's good. Yeah, it's good, dude.
It not really only nice. Is it good, it gets the Lord Vega seal of approval. And if you get that, Guncannon, you're doing all right, buddy. Jesus.
Yeah.
He did a good job. He did a real good job.
Yeah, I like it. I wasn't expecting it. I thought you were gonna have like a different overlay or something.
What, you thought it was gonna be like just like turds stamped in each corner? Like
no, because I don't know, dude. I've been crazy busy, but anyway.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to find some time to join us peasants as we talk all of the dealings going on in Westeros. Because I know that you're one of the biggest Game of Thrones fans I know. In fact, by maybe a little bit of shenanigans, you are the reigning, defending Game of Thrones trivia champion. Clowns suck it.
First of all, I just want to say, Clown has not paid me yet, but that's okay because I have the title, I have the crown. Every time me and him DM, he has to call me Your Grace.
Yes, he does.
It's pretty good so far. It was a pretty good deal.
It's not a bad life to have. It's not a bad life to have at all.
It's not. Having ColossalisCrazy calling you Your Grace every day, it's pretty good.
People got to be jealous of that. I know I am. Lord knows. I just get called fat shit, and it's difficult. It's difficult. But what are you gonna do? All right. So episode 2 of Game of Thrones season 7 has come out. We've decided that for the rest of this season, we are going to be right here each and every single Monday, breaking everything down that happened. Last week we avoided spoilers. Fuck all that this week. We're going full bore to the balls, giving it all over your face, neck, and chest. Vega, what'd you think episode 2, man? I want to just come leaping loads of jism all over the walls. But before I do that, what'd you think of episode 2?
Dude, start to finish, that was fucking perfect. So far, 2 strong-ass episodes. I mean, there's probably like a couple of moments where you're like, oh, they could have done that better. But I still think they executed beautifully. Beautifully, dude.
Oh, I agree.
I was thoroughly satisfied.
There are some complaints. I'm a little surprised. People are like, man, all they did was talk. All they did was talk. But the talk was so good. The conversation was so good. How can you complain about that?
The dialogue in that show is obviously very well thought out because both sides, because you'll see like in a movie or a TV show where you have one guy that's obviously correct and the other person has like some weird fucked up thing wrong with them.
Yeah. That
they're like, no, of course not. Or no, we shouldn't go over there. Even when like you have Sam talking to that other maester, the maester's making sense. Like when he's talking, he's making sense.
Oh, yeah.
He's not just blurting out dumb shit. He's an older gentleman. He's been through it all. He's saying, I believe you, but it's one of those... Yeah, but even when that exchange happened, when he was like, oh, yeah, I've heard of him. Guess what he died from? Grayscale, you dick. So it's, what I'm saying? The dialogue is perfect. There's a reason why Sam is getting shot down. Perfectly good reason.
And you and I understand that better than some because that was military talk in a lot of ways. That's that older sergeant, that sergeant major talking to a young private who thinks that he knows everything in the world. And the guy knows a little bit more than him because he's lived it. So I found a lot of the whole episode. Might be for a non-battle heavy episode. It might be the most tense episode of Game of Thrones ever. Every fucking scene was just tense. It was gripping, heartbreaking, tragic in some scenes. Everything had purpose. Everything had a design to it. It was wonderful. It was really, really fun to watch. They're setting up a magnificent season in these first 2 episodes.
Yeah, I've agreed, dude. Agreed. It's just the back and forth and the dialogue. It's a chess game.
It is.
As they speak. You know what I mean?
The pacing I'm finding very interesting because it seems like there's a good 2 to 3 weeks that are being eclipsed every scene change. It's like send a raven, and then we go right to the next scene where the raven arrives. So they're passing a lot of time very quickly. That seems to be purposeful as well. You got to pay attention to that, because if you're not paying attention to that, you're thinking, wow, only a couple days have passed. No. In that episode, if I figured things right about how long a Spiro takes to travel and all that shit. Did I say Spiro? Did I do a Pokemon thing? I did.
You said Spiro. I was just going to let it go.
I said Spiro. Pokemon's in my brain. Oh,
the
my
Raven.
God.
The Raven.
I think it was a spicy Spiro, as a matter of fact, if I had to guess. If you get the reference, put a 1 in the chat for that one. Okay, so.
I have no clue.
You wrote it. You wrote the line. How could you not get it?
What do you mean?
A spicy Spiro? You wrote the line.
No.
Yes, you told me to say spicy Squirtle. I used, oh God.
Yeah, it was Squirtle.
In your video. Yeah, but God, giving you a shout. Oh my God, Vega. Oh, you hurt my soul.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Well, you sent me a bunch of them too. I
did.
just grabbed one. I felt like I had to splice 2 of them together.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. All right, but I digress. So it's just, there was so much that it was like 3 months that it passed in this episode. It was a ridiculous amount of time. What was some of your favorite moments from the episode?
I think the battle scene was pretty good, to say the least, because he came in with. Do you watch? You watch it on HBO, correct or no?
No, unfortunately, I don't. I can't. But I
do you have access? Do you have access to the inside the Game of Thrones after the credits?
No.
Because they explain a few things too behind the thought process of why the scenes played out the way they did. Like, I don't know if you want to go chronologically in the episodes. I got down notes and everything.
Oh, fucking hit it up, Daddy. I love it.
What I do is I watch the episode twice. I don't take notes on the episode or nothing like that. Like, I fast forwarded it and I was writing down, oh, this is that scene, this is that scene. But like how it opens up with them at Dragonstone, it was Varys being questioned on his loyalty.
How good was that?
And that scene was intense, dude.
They really were.
I was like, yo, and the way Varys kind of came back with his speech on he fights for the people because he came from nothing. You know, somebody's got to play the game for them. So he's like the people's champion, but, you know, I don't know. We've seen him do some shady shit, but nothing that we could outright question him on except for that one speech walking by that giant skull. I think it was like season 1. You remember
there was a lot of callbacks, not only to season 1, but season 1, episode 1. There was at least 6 that I counted. There was a lot of callbacks to the first season.
Yeah. So, I mean, that conversation that he was trying to, I guess, blow some smoke up her ass, and then she kind of finished the sentence for him.
Yeah.
And that was the same thing that other lord down there in wherever they were being held during episode 1. I can't remember right now, but during that time that he was blowing that smoke up his ass, but she was present, and he was almost going verbatim what that guy was telling her brother.
Yes.
And then she kind of cut him off and was like, oh, they light candles for me at night, and they sing secret songs and all this. Yeah, I heard it, motherfucker. You're bullshitting me. What's up? Even you saw Tyrion get shut down. You know?
Everybody got shut down. I love that Dany is really starting to. She seems like she's got it now. Like the maturity, the maturation process is there. She's queen, and there's no question about it. She seems to be playing the political game the way that everybody else has, in the same vein, but in a different scheme. And she just knows what she's doing. Loyalty is important, and she put it to the test with Varys, and it seemed like that was the answer that she even wanted from Varys. It was wonderful. It really was a cool scene.
Yeah, I fucking loved it, dude. That's a prime example of how the way they started the episode is pretty much how the episode went.
Yes,
was dialogue, heavy dialogue, and it was definitely a back and forth. Like, you know, you're tossing all this logical, because we're already there.
Right.
We're at the point where everybody's together in the same continent, and we're about to get right to it. So there's no more bullshitting to be had. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's
like
no
if,
more.
if
There's
you got
no more.
something
They're
you gotta
coming.
say, you gotta say it now.
Yeah, everything's there. White Walkers are coming down, bearing down the way. Dragons are there. Everybody's there. There is no more waiting for anybody. That is true.
Yeah, for sure. And Captain Christian said she came when she saw Euron ships.
I think a lot of people did when he came out. What was that damn dragon movie with? Oh God, was it Rain of Fire with? Oh shit! What? Oh,
Matthew McConaughey
yes,
was Rain of Fire.
Yes. So where he goes flying at the dragon with the axe. That's how Euron looked when he came off that fucking boat. That was awesome.
Right.
I would say savage, but fuck Jake Paul. So I'm not using that word. But that was amazing. That was amazing.
What's up, Quack Daddy?
Yeah, we got a bunch of people up in the chat. Thank you guys for joining us here. The Eternal Vanguard, Sci-Fi Guy, Rachel Foster, beautiful Rachel Foster, Soul Trex, Captain Kirsch, of course, the gorgeous Captain Kirsch, Chrissy Piplup. Oh, shit. We got a lot of beautiful women up in here. Shadow Humor here as well. Luna Blarp, all kinds of people. Thanks for, make sure you drop a like on the video. So after the first scene, where do we go from there? What was, you have the notes, so go ahead and keep going with the next part of the next scene.
The next one was they go from there, and I think Grey Worm was God. He got that wasn't that scene. It was he received the word. I'm going chronologically, right? So he received the word that the Red Priestess has shown up to give word of something, right? So that's when Dany met the Red Priestess, and she was telling him about Jon Snow and what kind of person he is, and Tyrion kind of hopped in and was like, I know this guy, after he kind of confirmed Jon Snow, Ned Stark's bastard boy. And he's like, I'm an excellent judge of character. I like him, like he's a good dude. And I like the little smirks too in the episode. They were everywhere.
They were.
Anytime somebody thought that somebody was not competent or not capable, they would definitely prove themselves within 10 seconds of a very cleverly thought out line that just snapped right back into it, and that person would be like, okay, okay, yeah, you got it. What
was cool about it was it was confirming things that we already knew, like the things that we know as viewers. They were all referencing to each other, and hence all the smirking. And I thought that was brilliant. I love the sequence between Dany and Melisandre. I've been waiting for that for a long time. That was really cool to see her explanation. She's still the same person. She's had all these tests of faith, but yet she's still the same person. And I like that they reference the prophecy, the correction in the prophecy. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was a big thing online, too.
It was.
That was a big thing online.
Some people are not happy about that. Some people,
like,
I saw some people on Twitter who were not happy about. So the entire time we've been operating under the, actually, people went to an SJW stance on some of the forums that I saw about this. They were like, so the entire time we've been operating under the assumption that it's been the prince that was promised, and now because they have to change things up, they're going to go prince or princess of light. I'm like, no, that's a good nuance, and it's keeping the ending from really being obvious. Because if you want to go with the most obvious iteration of everything, the most obvious translation, it's all about Jon Snow. He is the Song of Ice and Fire. But I think it needs to be more than that. There's enough differences between the book and series. Let's give a little nuance. At least give a little bit of thought to maybe it is Dany. Maybe it is Dany. Who the hell knows? She's been just as much of a focus since the beginning, since Jon Snow. Why can't it be her?
Yeah, she loved that line too. She loved the correction. She's like, oh, well, I'm afraid I'm not a prince. And then she got corrected. She's like, I like that version better.
Right. I like that.
Oh, yeah. That was great.
I thought it was pretty damn cool. And then just but Dany still being that queen. Again, I'm going back to the fact that that woman is straight up queenly. She's like, go ahead and invite him and tell him to come see his queen and bend the knee. I was like, oh.
That's the line that I was like, oh, dude, they're going to meet. And then she said, bend the knee. I was like, oh, fuck.
Jon might just do it. Jon is not interested in power. He might just do it. Yeah, I don't know.
You know what? Yeah, you probably, you could be right too, because he is that he does have that attitude, and I think he's already said it as well, if I remember right. He's like, I just don't care, about that king shit. We need to survive. That's the main priority here. Yeah. So if you want to crown me a king to get this shit moving forward, let's do it. Right. He doesn't really give a shit about anything else.
No, I agree.
So yeah, you're right. he would probably hit the knee right immediately. As soon as she says it, he's probably hitting that ground and being like, all right, let's go.
So many times Jon has not fucked around. Jon hasn't fucked around. He doesn't get caught up. He's the one probably seriously not political character in the entire story. He's the one who doesn't care. He's only doing it because he knows he has to survive. He knows what it's going to take to get us through the winter. That's it. He doesn't care about anything else. He doesn't care about the Iron Throne. He doesn't care about any of that, the lineage, none of it. He just wants to survive. He doesn't want to become a fucking zombie. That's it.
Oh yeah. And also, I think I was saying this to someone that it was I think the line, because you saw no you haven't seen it because you don't. On HBO they show you that preview, right, of the next episode.
I didn't see the preview. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so what happens is you get the credits, which is the worst part of the show, and then you get your inside the episode, and then which is very interesting shit too. If you're not watching on HBO,
I gotta watch
check
it. I gotta
that
watch
shit
it
out. Somehow you have to find it, dude, because I don't know how to rip it. So from there, because it's Dave and Dan. I don't think there's anybody else. There's no actors or nothing. It's just Dave and Dan talking about why. Yeah, exactly. They're like, this is the reason why. And I'll get to it. Like the Nymeria scene is an interesting
I love
point
that
they
scene.
brought up.
I got some thoughts on that, and let's see how that goes with what the creators said, because I got a couple thoughts on that, or the directors, whatever. But continue.
That's when is that? That's like a little down the line on here, but yeah, that I don't know. That's just what I forgot where I was going with that. But
sorry, I
just
derailer.
That's what I was saying. I said that Danny is probably one of the only people on the planet, and I swear to you, if they use this exchange, it still makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. If they have that exchange back and forth of, because Danny wants to conquer the kingdoms. He doesn't give a shit about that. He knows what the real deal is, right?
Yep.
So the only thing that he wants to convince her of is, I need your dragons. Let's go. Like, fuck all this dumb shit. We need to go. And she's just going to be like, whatever, bro, yada, yada, yada. He might describe it and just say exactly what he told everyone else is, you've never seen him. I've seen him. I'm telling you, it's that crazy. And how insane the situation is, you guys wouldn't even be worried about what's going on down south. If he tells her that, I bet you one of the lines that she'll probably fire back with would be like, look, bitch, I stepped into a fire, I survived, and I got 3 dragons. Yeah, I believe you. You know what I mean? I believe what you're saying. So I think that'd be, but it sucks that she lost half her fucking army.
Right, he came back to life. She fucking didn't burn up in a fire. I mean, they're both pretty damn incredible from different aspects. So I think that once those stories kind of gel, they're going to be able to believe each other. I also think that a line was uttered a couple times in this episode that is kind of going to be important going forward. Who wants to be the Queen of Ashes? Yeah. And Jon's going to be basically bringing that same message. Who gives a fuck what you're queen of? Because we're all dead. We're all dead.
Exactly.
So what was the next scene?
Look at the Eternal.
Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
No, I was just going to read off the Eternal Vanguard said, I still think Azor Ahai is Jorah, regardless of the gender now.
Jorah?
I got my own theory, and I think that it makes a lot of sense. I don't know if it's going to happen, though. But I'll mention that after we cover the episode.
I was about to say, you can't just, like, give me the tip and not give me the whole fucking theory there. Oh, my God. But all right. Tease it for a little bit later on. That's fine. All right, what's the next
So
scene?
that's we got the word on that, right? With we just left off with Danny meeting the priestess. Mm-hmm. So right after that, Jon Snow receives word, because remember, she sends word. The last thing she says is send word over to him and tell him to bend the knee. So now we're at
Spiro. She sent the Spiro to him. Yes.
Yeah. So the Spiro. Yeah, the Raven. But she receives the letter, or he receives the letter. Sansa's reading it off, and this is where we see that light bulb go off, where how can that fucking the Onion Knight just reads off
Davos.
I don't know why I can't think of names right now,
Davos.
but yeah,
Davos.
He goes on and he says, wait a minute, what kills whites? Dragons.
Right.
And she has 3 dragons, motherfucker. Like, yeah, you should probably go over there, you know? Like,
this could make the war a little bit easier. They are in the air and they can breathe down fire. This could help. It could help.
How masterful, too, is the writing? Because in any normal movie or TV series, that would have been like the old buddy cop series where he's like, wait a minute, dragons. She has 3 dragons? I think that I'm paraphrasing, but this is kind of like how it went. Like in a buddy comedy, you'd be like, what kills whites? And the other guy would be like, fire. But in this one, he just kind of gives that subtle look to it because the acting's so good.
And the acting is, God damn it, in this
perfect.
episode especially. Jesus.
He kind of just gives him that look, and he's like, so they never utter the words or anything like. They just kind of mention it, and we obviously complete it with our brains. It's just perfect storytelling right there.
It is. The narrative is always wonderful. And in that scene, they once again, I thought that they got a lot of the tension between Jon and Sansa out last week, but no, they did not. It's still going. She has her ways of thinking, man. It's just, and she is not going to deviate from it. Why does everything she thinks so fucking short-sighted? Everything she does is short-sighted, and it drives me crazy.
Well, remember, dude, we have to understand the characters at their base. Sansa knows the Game of Thrones. She knows what's going on, and she knows how to play it. Jon is not interested.
No.
He understands what's going on. Yeah, he gets it, but he doesn't care. You know what I mean? So she is obviously making sense to us in the crowd, even though it's frustrating. You can't deny that she's making sense.
Well, no one's had a better teachers. Who's had better teachers in the Game of Thrones than Sansa? She's traveled with Tyrion, with Peter Baelish, and Cersei. I mean, Jesus, she is the masters.
Also, she's got to run in with Ramsay. You know, she was mutilated. You know, she's been through about as much as she's got the advanced master class in how to deal with this fucking shit politically. Yeah. That's why she's such a formidable opponent with Jon in dialogue in front of people who matter. Yeah. Because she knows what she's doing. She knows how to talk. She knows what you even almost see the approval from Littlefinger in the corner. Anytime she speaks, he gives that smirk like, this bitch is going, she's got it.
She's going to be queen. You know? But not only does she know how to talk, she knows how to talk to that audience. She knows how to convince them. And the entire room, when they go into that room, they start discussing what's going to happen, if Jon's going to ride south or what. The entire room basically agrees with you can't leave. You can't leave. And yet
it was unanimous. Yeah,
it was. Even my favorite little girl fucking warden there. Jesus, the goddess of Bear Island or whatever, man. Even she, who has never once wavered in anything to Jon Snow, is like, you can't leave us. You are the king in the north. You got to be in the north.
We need the king in the north, Dick. Yeah, right. The fuck are you doing? But again, we have to understand the characters. Like she is tracking. Like her mind. I guess the best way I could put it, the way I see it, is Sansa's head is on King's Landing. Yeah. And all the possibilities and all the angles and all the stuff going on there, and he's obviously stuck at the wall, and he just needs as many bodies as he can. He's not even thinking about intense strategies at this point. He even says it outright. You know, we need bodies, man. You know what I mean? We can't deal with this shit on our own, bro.
No, because that army is getting bigger every day, and you're having to get children at this point. Jon's watching, and I think it was very poignant that when the Raven was sent and it showed up, the first thing we see in the training yard is the children training. That's where they are. Yeah. And I think it was really important that they showed that this is who's in this army right now. This is why Jon is panicking the way he is, because he's watching children train for battle. He knows they're in trouble.
It was such a little glance too, but it was just enough of them fighting or training and shit that I was like, oh man, they're already getting to it.
That was masterclass right there. I loved it. I loved it because it was so subtle. It was so subtle. But this is why he's doing what he's doing. They don't have the force. Hell, what was the next scene? I don't want to get ahead, but after that, so he leaves all that. What's next? I'm sorry, because I was about to jump somewhere else.
Next one is Queen Cersei talking to the nobles, and what a fucking speech, bro. She almost had me convinced.
My God.
Another perfect display of dialogue and great screenwriting, but she almost had me convinced to be like, you know what, this bitch makes some sense. And then of course Tarly comes out of nowhere and says, the only thing that you should be worried about, she has 3 dragons. Bitch, how do you presume we deal with that? You know what I mean? She even kind of looked, no, not kind of, her eyes, none of her body moves, and her eyes just look to the side. Like,
right
somebody answer this question.
Well, luckily,
all day. I forgot about that part.
Luckily, she's got Super Sorcerer, who's already come up with like 2 ridiculously insane plans that have both worked. He created a fucking zombie, undefeatable fucking giant, and of course the wildfire thing. So he's the guy to be trusted. And even when he gives the diplomatic bullshit answer of "we're working on a plan," I knew he had a fucking plan, and he did.
Oh yeah, there's no way that this is gonna be this, slaughter and everything that George R.R. Martin has done and Dave and Dan.
Yeah.
Nobody goes down too easily. You know what I mean?
No.
It's not just other than like commoners and stuff,
right?
But there's always something, or at least if they go down, there's some kind of emotional attachment that carries through with the character that was responsible.
Yeah, nothing's wasted. Nothing's wasted, and nothing. Yeah.
That reminds me of Sam, the actor. And in one of his interviews, just real quick, he actually said that out loud. He's like, there is nothing that you've ever seen on the show that is wasted. Every single word, every single sentence means something. So pay attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially
and when he said that,
I
took it to heart.
Oh, yeah, you have to. I also, what I liked, the entire exchange between Jaime and Lord Tarly. That was intense. Again, every scene is dripping with intensity. And like, you want to hate Sam's dad so bad, but that speech he gives back to Jaime it's awesome. It really
is, dude.
I loved it.
You see where he's coming from. You know what I mean?
He's like, who are we? We're not we're the forgotten ones. We're the ones. We've made a pledge, and we've always kept our pledge. And what are you at? And Jaime's going back to the same things. Well, I'll just give you this. We're gonna need a new warden of the South. And Tarly's like, motherfucker, what does that mean?
Well,
it did.
I think that cut off. It cut off right there. Perfect place to cut off. Because I was thinking as I was listening, how the hell are they going to end this scene? Like, this is crazy. But they cut it off right there because, I think it is a good cutoff because that's the ultimate. Look, you want to do right by your people? I'll make you the fucking big dick of that section.
Right.
Just, you know what I mean? So that's a great way to kind of catch an honorable guy into thinking about everyone in that particular area.
I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
Going to what you said too with the Sam about things not being wasted. There was a small little encounter between Jaime and Lord Tarly's son, where he calls him the wrong name. He calls him Dickin. and
when was this?
This was right when he goes to greet Lord Tarly. He greets the son, talks to him first. The son is standing right next to him. It's so if you go back and watch it, you'll see it. It's really funny. He goes, Lord Jaime. He goes, oh, you're Dickin Tarly, right? He goes, no, Rickon, or he corrects him, Richard Tarly, or something like that. But right. Jaime is, as much as you think Jaime grows, he always shows that maybe not so much. Because he did that on purpose. That was a purposeful slight. Slight.
What a dick. I fucking look. Jaime in the chat is getting a lot of love from who's it? Catable, sci-fi guy, Eternal Vanguard. I agree. That motherfucker is legit. We went from fuck this pretty boy piece of shit early on, his fucking sister fucking cunt, to I think I fell in love with that character when he was in that hot tub and he told his story.
Yeah.
And I was just, first of all, that acting should have received an award immediately. Like, as soon as he walked off set naked as fuck, they should have just handed him something. But that story in and of itself was like, he is actually a good dude. He's a piece of shit kind of, but he's a good dude.
He's driven by the qualities that you want to like in a person. Now, does he act on them in ways that make him less noble? Sure. But you always feel like Jaime's going to do the right thing. Unfortunately, most of the time he ends up not, but it's still, it's a fun journey to watch.
It's almost like Jaime, the character, was like, fuck it. Everybody thinks I'm a piece of shit. Then I'll just be that, but he knew the truth and never said anything, because he, like he said before, you think the honorable Ned Stark would believe me?
Right.
Like that. It's a good mentality that he had, but he just, like you said, he went about it definitely the wrong way.
Yeah. But I mean, when you're branded the Kingslayer, I mean, what are you supposed to do? And even that he did for the right reasons. Jaime really is. He's great. Do you want to talk about a layered character? He might be the most layered in the entire story.
Definitely one of them.
I think so.
All right, next up we got
scene, yeah.
Jorah and the grayscale. The first encounter, because now we're gonna. I think we're getting into. Now we're getting into. This is the final scene before we start going back and forth to the same scenes, same locations, same people and stuff. So Jorah and grayscale is the first time we see them face to face. And Samwise is, or Sam.
Wrong epic, my friend. Wrong.
Yeah,
epic.
I know. I don't know. I've said that before. Sam is in there with the old maester, and they just diagnosed him with grayscale. He's got about 6 months to live.
Yeah, basically gives him the motherfucker, you're gonna die. I like the little look to the sword. You know, I'm gonna, because you're a knight and all that. I'm gonna give you a day, and he looks right to the sword. I thought that was cool. That was a nice little like, go ahead and just off yourself. Fuck it, man. Just kill yourself. Don't make me send you to Valyria. Just do it. Just end yourself.
Yeah, that was good. Again, I just won't. I just stop repeating that this is a awesome way to tell the story. Like, you could be like, yeah, just you should kill yourself and walk away.
I loved how progressed the grayscale was too. That was really, to see that much of his body covered. Damn. And who doesn't like Jorah?
Dude, Jorah, I don't want to see him go, but now, you know, I think the overly obsessed with Dany thing was kind of getting me a little, I don't know, I was getting a little tired of it, but
too lovesick. I agree. Too lovesick.
Yeah, it was a little too much for his character, especially how badass he was, and now it just kind of turned into whatever the fuck, you know, like. But as soon as he got sent off, got back interested in him. And now with half of his fucking body with that shit. And this is only the conversation. And we'll get to the other scene because that was crazy.
One of the best scenes and transitions in the entire series ever. We'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I did not like, that's in my notes. The worst scene transition.
No. We'll get to that in a second. All right, so we get the diagnosis and all that. What's the next scene?
The next scene is the Dragon Skulls and Valyria the Dread.
We get a conversation about Robert.
The weapon.
We don't get a lot of conversation about Robert anymore, and we got a few in this episode, actually. A few mentions to Robert Baratheon. In fact, it opened, the whole show opened with it, with Varys talking about him. So to hear Cersei talk about Robert, I thought was really cool, because that, we do not hear that very often. So to hear talk about Robert, almost kind of in a longingly way, I that's about as pleasant as she's going to ever reference Robert Baratheon. I thought that was really cool. I like that scene.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Just instead of, you know, again, instead of explaining what's going on, they just kind of tell little stories here and there, and to remind the audience how devastating this. And it does this skull look like? Because Drogon is fully grown, right?
Yeah, I think so. They say in the episode they have 3 fully grown dragons, so I'm assuming, yeah.
Yeah, well, the other 2 are smaller because they were in captivity, is from what I understand.
But Drogon's huge.
So they didn't grow as big as Drogon. But Drogon doesn't look, his skull doesn't look like it's as big as her grandfather, her great-grandfather's dragon.
No, that motherfucker was huge.
Yeah, that thing was, I mean, you saw how Cersei was just standing next to the damn thing.
Yeah.
Fuck me running, you know? Like, and Dany standing next to Drogon, yeah, he's huge, but not in, you know, I don't know, compared to that. But anyway.
He'll probably be bigger again next time we see him, because it's been a while since we've seen him real close and everything. So we'll see how that works.
And months are going by. Yeah,
yes,
for
a
sure.
lot of, again, a lot of time is passing. So I think that's important as well. So that'll be interesting. Showing the siege weapon, the land to air siege weapon. I thought that was really cool. So the big bastilla, that was nice.
That's great, but you know, I don't know. When I look at that, I don't see something that's very mobile, you know, like, so, I mean, these dragons aren't just going to stand there,
right?
You know, and I don't see this show doing. Can you mention a time where the show actually did something where it's almost like this? It was too good of a setup,
right?
You know, like it was too good for you to actually, you know, like somebody steps in front of your gun and you shoot it, you know, like what the fuck. So there has to be a trick there. Something's going on there to, you know, they might be advancing that, but I don't see that as some kind of crazy solution.
It
you know,
like
it's a good
hope.
weapon.
It seemed like a false hope moment. Like, okay, this is the answer, but it's really not going to be an answer. I don't think it is, at least, but who knows? But I still like the scene. I thought it was a good setup for.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Maybe incredible disappointment. Yeah.
I mean, you never know. They could surprise us, and we saw one. Now, if they say they've been working months on it, you never know. It's just like the wildfire. Who knows when they start circling around the city if they don't move tarps back and you see thousands of these things aimed in the air. It's like one of those 300 moments where it blots out the sun kind of thing, where they will hit the dragon, you know? Like, we don't know. It's Game of Thrones. So.
You never know. You never know. But that was a relatively short scene, but it's still, I liked it a lot.
Very powerful, very, very, very relevant to what the hell we're talking about for sure.
Yeah.
Because now we know that they have some form of defense, and they're going to continue to try to find something in addition to that.
Yeah.
So, all right, the next scene from there is the ladies' scene around the table with the guys hanging back.
I think my least favorite scene. At the time, it was one of my. I don't know. I'm torn on it because the scene is. Now watching the entire episode, you know how tragic the scene actually is. But the scene was. Am I the only one who doesn't like the old fucking lady? Like everyone talks about her like she is the that when is she ever right? Like she always she doesn't act on anything to where she ever gets anything right. She says the things that seems to be right, but she never fucking changes or stops anything. It drives me
I don't know.
nuts.
I like her, man. I like her. I just like her conversation.
Be a dragon. What does that mean? Tell the bitch what to do. You're old as fuck. Tell her exactly what to do. Stop being subtle and actually do something. She's that old cunt who's drinking fucking tea and telling everybody in just enough words what they should know, but doesn't ever tell them what the fuck to do. Like, I'll just let all these young kids fucking know what to do. I have all the answers. I know how to fix all this, but I'm not going to tell them. No. That would be too easy. Be a dragon.
I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't agree with that in the sit down that she had with Danny.
Be a dragon.
Because she kind of prefaced that with she did preface it with saying, I survived, you know, they're all gone. They're all dead. Yes. You know why I'm still here is because I ignored them. You know, you're not a sheep. That's what they are, a sheep. You're a dragon. So be a dragon. As in, don't listen to retarded advisors. If you feel like you need to go do something, go fucking do it. You're the queen. I think that's what she was getting at, you know. And being a dragon is a fire breathing fucking, you know, beast that cannot be killed, pretty much, you know.
But see, I have a little bit of an issue with where the information or where the advice is coming from, because she's been rather protected and high guarded. Yeah, it's like the Tyrells are.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, it's like she's coming from a different world. She's coming from a completely different world and speaking about things that she's never really had to be too far invested in. I don't know. I like her, but she also drives me crazy because she's so pretentious. The way she explains things, it's like, yes, I know you're an old bitch with wisdom, but fucking tell people exactly what to do. Be a dragon. I need more than that. Danny needs more guidance than that. Gee, I don't know. It just bothers me. Everyone sucks her lady dick real good.
Marco Minko says, I think Drogon is smaller than Balerion by a little. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I think so too.
But, you know, like what Dave is saying, we haven't seen him for a little bit. And actually, you know what? I just remembered that scene when Drogon climbed over that rock and Danny was like this itty bitty little thing compared to what she was before. You know, when she gave that big speech to Dothraki, remember? And she climbs over the rock on his back when he finally returned, and he was enormous, dude.
He gets bigger every time. So
maybe, you know, might be wrong.
He gets bigger every time. People in chat, Marco, Minko, and Eternal Vanguard, they're talking about the revenge being her priority. Lady Highgarden, I always forget her name. Olenna. Her revenge is her priority, but it wasn't always. So I think that makes her a flawed character now because she's speaking against her own words. She's talking about her entire life's journey and everything that she's done, but now she's only there because she loves Marjorie, who she references in the conversation and speaks a little bit too highly of Marjorie, by the way. Just maybe a smidgen, because that's all she wants. She wants revenge for Marjorie's death, and that is all she's consumed with at this time. And I think that makes her a very conflicted character to where she's telling her not to listen to Tyrion, the one guy who's probably telling Danny the best things to do almost all the time. I don't know. It's a tough one.
Well, look. Well, you know what?
No, you're right.
Not to fast forward too far.
Yeah, no, you're right. I knew
not to fast forward too far. But we did just lose half the army.
There is a point to be made there.
Yeah, there is a huge point to be made.
But there's no way Olenna could have known that was going to happen. I mean, Jesus Christ.
But she has been around.
She has,
you know, like all the
Maybe
I think maybe she might be hinting at all this strategy and all this bullshit. We're telling you, all the women at the table were saying, go burn everything at the Capitol and take it. And honestly, I mean, other than the White Walkers, put that aside, right? Nobody gives a shit in this storyline. Nobody cares.
Right.
Right? We don't care. We don't really know what's going on in this storyline with the White Walkers. So really, they came up with a great solution, a great way to kind of save people and all this stuff. But we just saw at the end of the fucking episode, if she just would have went to go do that, everything in that fleet would have been irrelevant. The fleet would have never left. She still would have had her men. So now her men were sacrificed.
No, it's true.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it is true. And that part is a little bit disconcerting. But at the same time, I like Tyrion's plan. I think the idea of...
I loved it.
Look, half the damn King's Landing is blown up. What are you ruling? It seems like you lay siege to it. I like the plan. Lay siege, take Castle Rock, fucking cut the heartstrings. I like that. But yeah, it didn't work out.
Well, I mean, if you think about it too, if you take the Iron Throne, there are no Lannisters at Casterly Rock.
No, you might be right.
I mean, they might have cousins and stuff like that, but do you think that they're gonna give a flying fuck about revenge as soon as they hear what happened with the dragons?
No, you might be right. Maybe it was the better move.
Yeah, because that display of force is, I think, what those three ladies were saying. You take that, who the fuck is going to challenge you? Like, you know what I'm saying?
You're centralizing your army, though, too. I think when you do that, you are centralizing your army, and I think that you might be putting all your eggs in one basket. And if everybody does rally around, you might be stuck. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. Because now I'm just trying to get my way out of this argument because I'm 100% wrong. I'm 100% wrong. And I'm just trying to find a way out.
The fear of going at it with them, I think outweighs people's outrage over what occurred, the slaughters and shit. Like, you don't. What are you gonna do as a dead burning corpse on the field if you try to challenge that?
Right. No.
You know what I mean? Like,
and the
so it is a perfect fucking argument for like hours of debate. But
you know, anyway. The fucked up thing though, and that's to skip ahead, but I don't give a fuck that any of those motherfuckers are dead. I'm kind of glad because Game of Thrones, and we'll talk about this in a second, they kind of made up for their biggest mistake in the entire series, and I'll talk about that more when we get to that scene. Because I'm sorry, the Sand Snakes are the biggest mistake in the history of the series. They're so awesome in the book, and the fact that they suck so much in the show, it pains me, and I'm glad they're fucking gone. But I'll talk about that more in a little bit. What's the next scene?
All right. The next scene is the fuck scene with my boy.
Oh, God. What a good scene.
I've been waiting to see homegirl naked for I don't know how long.
I said the same thing. Glorious. I said the same thing.
It was so glorious. Gosh, she's hot.
I said the same thing. I was like, finally got to see them titties. They were nice, too.
Damn, white supremacists, stay away from my ladies. God.
White supremacists. The scene was good. The scene was great, man. The acting was, I believe he had no cock. You know, it's like he sold that. That
Very
was
embarrassing.
Wonderful. Telling a story about how he never had fear and now he has fear. That was beautiful. That spoke to my lady heart there, because that was beautiful. Then he ate her out, and I'm like, you know what? Game of Thrones, the juxtaposition, the romance, and then the leads to eating pussy. I loved it. I fucking loved it.
You got to make love some way. She's got to get off if you want to keep her, man. She's got to get off, man.
You got to keep her.
I don't know if that was visual effects or what, because it looks like he was rolling. He was rocking and rolling.
He was up in there. Her head was rolling back too. Me in a groove.
Tell you what, man. I don't know.
One of my favorite scenes of the whole episode. That was a great scene.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, when I watched it the second time, I kind of just wanted to get through it. Other than the fact that she was naked and she was hot.
Right.
But a rewatch, I didn't feel like I needed to see it again. But I love the.
They ain't got time for no fucking love story.
None of that shit. I want to see dragons and people dying.
So
anyway, it was great.
Next scene.
The next scene was wait, where are we at? This is the surgery scene.
Oh yes. This
very crazy.
This is one of my. I know you say it's your least favorite transition of all time, but going into it, where Sam has to explain to Jorah what he's about to do. I'm gonna flay you. I'm going to flay your skin off of your body, and motherfucker, you can't scream. And I love that the big secret, the secret remedy is to cut it off and put cream on it. I'm like, yes, that's some secret shit. I loved it. My God, that was terrifying. And the fact that they transitioned right to meat pie being eaten.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was so nasty. That was so nasty. That was nasty, bro.
What did you think of the scene?
I thought it was good, man. Dude, Jorah's acting was so good. I felt the pain. He looked like he was in fucking excruciating pain, dude. I was like, wow, man, that's gotta be, because that's probably just glue or something. I don't know.
Right.
They didn't want to hurt their actors. And I saw that. I was like, whoa, dude, this dude looks like he's getting a tattoo on his dick. Like fucking hell.
And all he has is a little belt to bite down on. And
oh, how sad. Yeah.
How much are we loving Sam? I mean, come on. Sam is like the ball in this character. All the journey that we've had to see with Sam, to see him now, he is cutting motherfuckers up to save his. I love Sam so much. He's been the MVP of both episodes, in my opinion. He's been great.
He's been rocking out, dude. Rocking out, dude. He's risking everything, but yeah. I mean, to him, he's like, fuck it, because that's the son of a man that helped mentor him. Gave him a chance and shit. So
yeah, when he found out his last name was Mormont, that changed everything, man. That was cool.
Oh yeah,
you saw the visual reaction.
Just would have walked out.
Oh yeah, of course. What can he do? But he felt indebted to him, and I thought that was great. I was there when your father died. I was like, love that.
Yeah. Now let me see. Does anybody in the chat know, or maybe you might know, Dave? Is it? I could have sworn I saw a review of the first episode, and somebody said that in the book, with the dragon glass, ingesting it could cure.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw people reference it, but I didn't see it myself. They didn't go that route.
I didn't catch it.
They didn't go that route. Were you expecting the procedure to be cut it off? I mean, was that what you were expecting?
I did not expect that. No. And then when I saw the blade, I was like, holy shit. And I was like, oh no. But I thought the ingestion of dragon glass was what everybody was talking about online anyway. Because I try to look around and see what's going on, and that's what everyone was saying, was ingesting the dragon glass.
Yeah.
And no, that didn't happen, because I don't think they have any. You would think that they had some, though, at the Citadel, at least lying around somewhere.
A little bit of it, sure. They got the books on it. They don't have a little piece of dragon glass? Come on, nothing?
Something, yeah.
But
you know what? That might be how the guy is correct. The older maester. That might be why he's right, because cutting it off ain't going to do it. So
that's your prediction. You don't think this is gonna work?
It probably won't work, and the dragon glass will have to come into play again. So he might have to beat feet out of there with Jorah, because if he finds out in that book, that's what I thought I saw. I thought somebody said that in the book that he was turning the pages on, something about that came up, but I don't know. I wasn't sure. I didn't know.
Dubia said maybe it was dragon glass paste. Maybe. Maybe it was.
Perhaps.
So transitioning from that, of course, the transition everybody's talking about, no one will ever be able to eat meat pie again, because we got the return of Hot Pie. We got to see Hot Pie for the first time since we got to see him. I think we did see him last season, briefly when or was it 2 seasons ago? I don't remember, but it's been a while. So to see him was fun, and now he's getting into the whole innkeeper business. And he's doing his thing. That was great, and the whole scene between him and Arya. What did you think of that scene and Arya finding out the truth and the reality of Winterfell?
I liked it. I think when he said that, and she kind of had that eye-opening fucking what? Excuse me. I was like, she's going. Yep. She's going.
And she does.
I don't know what you do when you watch the episode over there in Germany where your neighbors are crazy. But here, I'm like somewhere in the woods kind of thing. So if I could, I'd shoot out the window.
Kirsch. Tommy has problems with neighbors. I don't. I live in the good part of Germany where nobody gives a fuck what I do. Shit, that ain't a problem. So I go crazy when I watch this shit, just like you.
I would, yeah. As soon as he was telling her and she's like, what? I was like, yep. She's going north and she's going to link up with the people. Mm-hmm.
And when I saw that scene, I was like, this is why last week's scene at the campfire was so important. They showed that she still was a person. She was not a monster. She still had morals, a soul. She was not going to slaughter these people needlessly, all that. And then they fucking drove it home with this scene because she went home instead of enacting on her revenge. Even after all of her time at the House of Black and White and all of that, didn't matter. She's still Arya, and family still matters. I loved it. Thought that was really good.
That's a fucking excellent point. Yeah.
Loved it. And it made that scene last week, which I loved. It's one of my favorite scenes ever. And they drove it home. I thought it was great. That was really, really good.
Is that the one with Ed Sheeran?
Yeah, the scene that everybody fucking hated because of Ed Sheeran in it. And I'm like, that was a great scene. Fuck all that.
Let me say something to people talking that stupid shit, dude. All right. I when I was watching that scene, I did not know who the fuck Ed Sheeran was at all. And that scene to me played out fucking excellent.
I thought so
You know
too.
what I mean? It was a great scene. And until people started bringing up he's some pop star, oh, it sounded like a Spotify commercial. I was like, who the fuck is Ed Sheeran? You know, I might sound like a retard, like maybe that's Michael Jackson nowadays, but I don't really care.
He kind of is.
Yeah.
He's done some of the biggest songs in the past couple of years.
That's great. Amazing. I applaud that guy. But he was standing around a campfire in a cameo on the biggest show on the planet. Like,
Right.
Relax. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a fuck?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he had this massive monologue where, you know, he's like standing over someone's grave and it's crucial to the storyline. He's just talking shit.
It's not like he's fucking saying Shape of You during the show. I mean, come on, man. It wasn't that big of a deal. Jesus Christ.
Right. He's not playing Jon Snow's fucking swordman and he's going to be there a while.
Right.
Chill.
It was not a big deal. It was a cameo, and I thought it was a very good cameo. Luna Blarp in the chat, she says, it needs to be cut off with using dragon glass, idiots. She might be right. She might be right.
Is that what it is?
Oh, God, can you imagine if he's got to cut his ass up again, but with dragon glass?
I would tell him to fuck off. Like, you know what? You can keep that shit. You know what? Stab me with the dragon glass.
Just right in the fucking eye. Jesus. All right, so Arya goes home. What's the next scene?
Okay, that was a hot pie scene. Actually, before I wrote down this in parentheses, did you notice when he said, you've been cooking pies? And she said 1 or 2.
Yes.
I thought that was a great answer. I was like, whoop. Yep, she did actually cook 1 or 2.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. I like that. That was funny. Okay. Because it was the nuance was really great. Just like, how do you make it taste like this? Well, I browned the butter. She goes, I don't do that. He goes, you made pies? 1 or 2. Oh, that was a good setup. That was a good line.
Dude, this season so far has every single scene has like one line that I'm like, wow, what a fucking line to deliver at that moment. Anyway, all right, this one is Jon Snow meeting. The next scene right after Hot Pie was Jon Snow meeting with the nobles to convince them he was going to leave. Because the first one he got word.
I jumped it. Yeah, I jumped scenes. I'm sorry. I jumped that earlier.
It's fine. Did we already talked about that, right?
Yeah,
or no?
we did. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And he left the North up with Sansa, which shut her the fuck up.
Let's talk about that for a second, because that was. What do you think of that move? That move. I don't know how I feel about it. It's the only move he had. Don't get me wrong, but damn. What do you
I think it might cause tension. I think she is a good choice, but hopefully she remembers what he just did and she remembers that he's the king.
Yeah.
If she can remember those two things, it should be okay. But if she doesn't and she starts to overstep and she starts to cause something, if she starts to cause conflict between the people because of his absence and her leadership, if there's conflict there, then of course, you know, it's Game of Thrones. It makes sense if they went that route, you know, like, but I don't feel like we have enough seasons to see that play out.
No.
You know, like, I don't know.
It was an interesting move because all they've been doing the first 2 episodes is being on opposite side of the ideologies. So for him to leave the kingdom, you know, Winterfell with her, after all she's been doing is questioning him, I like it because it shows faith in her development. But at the same time, it's like, damn, Baelish is still there, dude. He's still there.
Yeah, but she's already proven that she's not. Well, unless you're talking about like straight up murdering her ass. Yeah, I get that part. But like, she is already proven to us, maybe not him directly where he's around, but I think she's proven enough to be strong-minded to where she gets Littlefinger and she's already tracking what he wants and all that. So we already saw episode 1 where she's not even giving a fuck about him anymore right now. She understands she's aware of his presence and what his intentions are, but she doesn't care. You know, she's just trying to keep him at bay, make sure his men are still around. You know, like I think it was a good move on his part, just to kind of.
It's the only move.
Like I said before, shut her the fuck up. You know what I mean? Give her what she wants right now, because there's really no other choice. Who are you gonna give it to?
There was
I'd
no
probably
other
give
move.
it to Lyanna Mormont. Yeah. I give it to Lyanna Mormont.
Yeah, why
just
not?
Just to think about it, yeah.
Why not?
She would be my perfect choice.
Just give it to her. Give it to her. She's great. Just give it to her. Fuck it.
She's a sister. She's a sister. Everybody wants.
Did they go right into the Peter Baelish scene next in the crypts? Did they go right to that next?
Jon Snow meeting with the nope. Yep, it was the Littlefinger into the crypts.
That one was great because to kind of go against the point of Jon knowing exactly what or having full confidence in Sansa. If that was the case, he wouldn't have had to do what he did with Littlefinger. He put his hands on him said very few words, but spoke a very high action while doing it. Oh God. And Peter's like, you could say thank you. And Jon still didn't say thank you. And said, I will kill you. I will fucking kill you, dude. That was great.
You touch my sister, I'll kill you. Yeah.
I loved it. Loved that. Oh God. I thought there was going to be more to that scene when we saw that in the trailer, because that was one of the big ones that people were talking about in the trailer. I thought that was going to be more of Peter telling Jon that he knew a little bit more about Jon's past and his history and his lineage, but that's
where I thought it was going. Yeah.
But they didn't. Once again, Game of Thrones being very smart in how they do it. It was more it was a petty thing, and not it was a micro and not a macro, and I really appreciated that. I thought that was good.
Yeah, and look, Eternal Vanguard again hopping in saying he strangled him like Ned did, and that's true. He did.
Oh, that's right. And good pull. Good pull.
He poked at him to the point. I don't know if he wanted that to happen though, but because. The way he was poking him, yeah, of course, that you're gonna elicit that response if you're fucking talking that crazy shit, dude. Because you might as well if you get rid of the formal talk and the kind of sneaky, clever lines and shit, you're essentially saying, "I'm gonna fuck your sister like I wanted to fuck your mom." Right. That's what he was saying. So what do you want this guy to do? He's gonna choke you the fuck out, bitch. Get out of here with that shit. You're telling me this to my face?
Like not only is he the king of the place that you are in, but he's also the brother of the sister that you just said you wanted to give a dickin' to. I mean, what were you expecting to happen, Littlefinger? You're supposed to be too smart to say something so stupid.
I know.
Jesus.
What a fucking dingus. What a weirdo.
I
don't know. What?
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The only thing I was going to say was I think him progressing into that might have been him pushing his boundaries because he knows, both of them know that the North would have been gone if it wasn't for Littlefinger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it wasn't for him bending the ear of Robb and Aaron, that army would have never went over there. You know what I mean? So he thinks that he owes him something, and by talking that crazy shit, Jon kind of showed him, I don't give a fuck, dude. I'll kill you.
I'm still
you know what I mean?
You.
I don't care if you save this, bro. It's over. We're done. I'm the king. Fuck you.
Sci-Fi Guy in chat says, how would Littlefinger know? I don't know how he would know. I'm just saying from that scene that they showed in the trailer, that's what a lot of people were expecting that scene to be about. And Littlefinger, how does Littlefinger know most of the things that he fucking does? The answer
Little
is
bird.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought because it took place in the tomb, I thought the answer might be in the tomb. But they didn't go that route. But still, that's what I thought at least, and I like that they didn't do that. So that was kind of cool. Anything else on that scene, or we go to the next one?
That was it. That whatever I saw. Then it's the Nymeria scene.
Oh,
Nymeria. Excuse me.
The most talked about scene I think that we're seeing, aside from the battle scene at the end. Beautiful, and another callback to season 1. Episode 1, Ned talking to Arya about why do you like knitting, or why won't you knit? Why do you like swords instead of knitting? And he said to her, "That's not you," and that's exactly what Arya said to Nymeria. And I love that scene. I don't know if it's the last we're going to see that dire wolf, but if it is, what a fitting send off. I liked it. What did you think of the scene?
No, it was good. I don't know. I didn't feel it that crazy, but I don't know. I liked it, but I wasn't in love with it. I don't know why, but I get the last part, and her acting obviously sold it. But you're right about the call. That's what they said that's what I wanted to tell you about that scene when we first started. That Dave and Dan did say, it was about that time where Ned Stark was giving her the oh no, you're gonna have little lords and ladies, and you're gonna be this powerful woman. She's like, no, that's not me, and she went back to training immediately, and that was what she realized because she was heartbroken, is what Dave and Dan said. We wanted to make sure that she, just through her face in the close up, presented that she was disappointed and heartbroken and just she couldn't believe it, and then she transitions into that line, and she's just like more happy that she's doing what she wants to do as a direwolf or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think they definitely nailed it. The way they described that scene, that's exactly what I felt,
Of all the direwolf relationships, because the Starks have such a weird relationship, and it's much more fleshed out in the books, but on the television show, that's probably the least that they explored. We didn't really see a lot of Nymeria all that much. So for some people, I can understand why there wasn't. Maybe that's why you didn't have as much connection with the scene as some other people did. But just having that reunion, because did anybody think we were going to get another direwolf reunion at any point? So I like that. I like that they did it.
Yeah, I did like that it happened. Yeah. I'm just saying I wasn't like I was almost like let's move on. She's not gonna die.
More mushy shit. Vega ain't got time for that.
It wasn't just that. I just knew that nothing dire or anything like that was gonna happen. Like it might be a good way to close that off, and it's great. But like you were saying before, it might be the reason, because dire wolves were only wolves at the main character's sides. We didn't have like very crazy moments with them that much,
Aside from
they were around here and there. You're like, look at Ghost. Where the fuck is Ghost?
Yeah, we haven't seen Ghost in a while.
That bitch wasn't even at the battle. Where you at, Ghost?
Ghost ain't ate anybody in a while. I want to see some more eating. God, come on, Ghost, get up in there. Is this the last that we see Nymeria? Does Nymeria? Are they going to do the thing that a lot of people expect? The big save, like Arya's in trouble, and then Nymeria's going to come and save the day. Do you think they're going to do that, or is this it? Was that the send off?
You know what? I could say that'd be the send off, and then next thing you know, in the actual battle, because these are creatures that live in Westeros.
Yes.
In the north. So if the White Walkers attack and we do get a battle in the north, there's probably going to be no choice, but because Nymeria, we obviously know that there's some kind of human-like instinct or understanding there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could see that with their pets or the direwolves of the family. So maybe she might just go over there with a pack and help out in the final battle. Hopefully they have the budget this time.
This is also the last thing I want to say about the scene, and why I do think that there is importance for people who don't necessarily read the books. In the books, the Starks, almost all of them display some sort of, they at least insinuate that they might all be wargs. In fact, very often Arya has wolf dreams as Nymeria. So I don't think they're going to go down that route, just like a lot of storylines that people were expecting to see in the show that they never did from the books. I think this is another one. They're not all wargs. They're not all wargs. I mean, it seems like just Jon, who's displayed some warging ability, and Bran. I think that's going to be it. Not the women. And I wonder if that's on purpose. That it's the men in the line, and not the women who are displaying warging ability. I don't know. The warging is much more important in the books than it is in the show.
Yeah, we don't see that a lot. I mean, we only saw that with North of the Wall and with Bran. Yeah, and that was it.
Yeah, we've only seen it a few times, but it's still pretty cool stuff. I do like it. I wish they would kind of go into it a little bit more, but it is what it is there. All right, next scene.
The next scene is the actual last real scene before the battle, and that was the one. Well, I said they're essentially the same sequence, I guess you would say. So, you have Theon Greyjoy, Yara Greyjoy, fuckface, horny chick from Dorne. She's there. They wound up having a little interaction, and obviously, Theon. That was the first thing I was like, oh, my boy got to leave. He can't do nothing there. You gotta go, Theon. Just take off, man.
Well, he could have anyway. That is, well, I guess the incest isn't all that uncommon in Game of Thrones, but I mean, still, you wouldn't think you'd go in there and go fuck his sister as well as the other chick. But still, hey, he has no dick. But I'm saying if he did have a dick, babe, and Jesus.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like the Dornish chick, the reason why she didn't care, because she was fucking her brother too. Yeah,
she was gonna fuck both.
She wouldn't assume that they would care, So.
Right? No, yeah. But what I found interesting about it was the foreshadowing. I mean, the second she called him her protector, I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, this is it. Bitch gonna die very soon. That was some heavy-handed foreshadowing. And actually some of the only sloppy writing that I can ever really go into in detail from Game of Thrones, because that was really ham-fisted. I mean, damn. They straight up, that's calling the shot right there. My protector. Why would you call Theon your protector? Captain
That was a good line, though.
It was a
good line with the well, what are you waiting for? What is it? There's a foreign invasion underway.
That was funny, yeah.
So good.
Some sexy stuff.
The great line.
We also had the interaction down below with the other Sand Snakes. One of the only scenes with the Sand Snakes that I really did enjoy was them talking shit on each other, which is all they've ever really done. But there was something about that interaction, mainly because I felt it was probably going to be the end. The last time we were going to get that interaction, I did enjoy it.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I liked it. I laughed for sure.
And then all hell breaks
loose. The battle takes place, and that was, dude, I don't know, man. That looked like a lot of rotoscoping or massive green screening to me, bro. But it was fucking well executed, because I believe that we were there, you know?
Yeah. I felt it was dark. I felt I got confused a little bit at times. It was very dark and very fast. For a Game of Thrones battle, which are a little bit lengthier a lot of the times, this one was very fast. It's not a knock against the battle, because I thought it was really, really good, but it was very boom, 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 boom. I mean, it almost felt like they knew they were running out of time, and they kind of jammed. It felt like that should have been about a 15-minute scene that they jammed into 8 minutes. And I'm like, I wanted a little bit more.
Was it 8 minutes?
It felt like it was. I think it was. It was like 10 minutes long. It was not a long scene.
I think when I was looking at the time, I could have sworn it looked like it was 15 minutes.
Did it go that long? Maybe I'm wrong. I thought I
might be including the actual scene previous to that, or the location change, from down below up top. So it might be my mistake, because they did spend a little bit of time talking.
Yeah, but as soon as that hammer drops and by the way, what a great boat entrance. If we maybe the greatest boat entrance we've ever seen on a fucking television show, when that crazy ass drawbridge comes down and fucking Matthew McConaughey looking Euron just comes crashing through. That was crazy. Well, the battle, walk me through it.
Well, first of all, when he landed, well, let me go with the inside the episode, right? That they did mention that we've seen him talk a lot of shit. We've seen him, murder his brother and do some conniving things, some scheming and stuff like that. But they wanted to make sure they proved the point. Dave and Dan, the directors, right, or the screenwriters, were the ones that, or producers, whatever, Dave and Dan. What they wanted to make sure that they pulled off, according to inside the episode with their own mouths, was to make sure that they showed that this guy not only can talk the talk, he can walk the walk. He does everything that he says he's done. So there's validity to maybe, when he crosses 14 seas and sees all these crazy things, is the fucking guy. You know what I mean?
He is. He showed
So that's what they wanted to bring home. But once he landed, everybody came off. I mean, we even see how the Ironborn fight with those fucking, you saw one guy with the knuckles that were nothing but spikes, and you just saw going at each other. And we saw
tongues getting ripped out, I think, at one point. I mean, that was fucking insane.
Well, the battle wasn't even over until and they were taking trophies.
Yeah,
essentially what the Ironborn was doing. They were just taking trophies. They're taking ears off of people that weren't even dead yet. Like they're just taking, like it was over. You can see them walking around, except we saw Theon turn around, and this is during the time where somebody just could have just stabbed Theon. But Euron had Yara.
Yeah,
and he's taunting him.
Well, and of course, before that, I want to touch on all the Sand Snake stuff, because I like the way they battled. Yeah. That was so great. Seeing the Sand Snakes die the way they did, I thought was really great. But maybe the most important thing that people are not talking about enough is Euron also accomplished something else that he said he was going to do. He got the trophy, and people were wondering what the trophy was going to be. What does Cersei love more than anything else? Vengeance and torturing. Euron just got the person who killed Marcella, poisoned her with her own lips. That's what Euron just got, because they didn't kill them, they took them. And a lot of people were saying, they're gonna rape them. No. I don't think that's the point at all. That was that smirk of when she said just kill us and get it over with. No. That wasn't we're gonna rape you, bitch. We're taking you to Cersei. Have fucking fun with that. The last person that Cersei got goddamn revenge on got zombie raped. So
that zombie rape, my man, boy, I tell you what, man.
This is not, and not only did they take what's her name, they took the daughter too. And not only one of the Sand Snakes, her specific daughter. That's important. That's a trophy. Euron really accomplished the mission there, and I thought that was cool.
Oh yeah, because you already know with that daughter, which is my favorite daughter, by the way.
But yeah, she was cute.
I don't know if you remember her in jail.
Yeah.
But when she was in jail, she took that shirt off, and I was like, yeah, that's my girl right there. That's my Sand Snake right there. But her, it's good you mentioned that too, because now Cersei sees not only the woman that murdered her kid, but her kid.
Exactly.
So you already know she's going eye for an eye with that.
Exactly.
And it's not gonna be poison.
It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be real bad. I mean,
yeah.
Damn.
Because dude, Cersei's not gonna fuck around with that shit.
No, we got to get something really despicable from Cersei every season, and that's what that's going to be. And so Euron just did it. Euron just got he just got a queen. Essentially, he just got his queen because she's going to give her exactly what she wants, and that was really brilliant. Seeing the other Sand Snakes die at the hands of Euron, I thought that was very cool. I liked that it wasn't throwaway deaths. They fought though. Got to give them credit. They fought, and Euron's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. My question is, we're assuming that half of her army is gone, so she's starting off with essentially the army she brought.
The best part of the army, though, arguably the best part of the army. You got the Unsullied.
50,000 Unsullied. That's still a huge army. You know what I mean?
And the Dothraki horde. Like, what, 100,000? How many is it? It's a lot.
It's all of them. It's all the Dothraki. She took the whole damn country. So, yeah, it's a lot. But
so I think they're doing okay.
But we lost Dorne. We lost the Reach.
Tyrells, yeah.
We lost the Greyjoys that were on Dany's side. So what my question is, we did see the scene where the camera was panning around and we saw a bunch of burning ships, but obviously that's not the entire fleet that we saw on that frame. But are we making that assumption that since they were kind of sailing off peacefully, was that a corner of that fleet and they just kind of didn't want to risk going in there and getting burnt? Or was it we're making the proper assumption that Dany just lost half her army and we're stuck with Theon, you know?
As much as I would have liked the plan that Tyrion came up with to work, this kind of needed to happen because it opens the door for the necessity for Jon Snow, because now Dany doesn't have all the strength that she had. So maybe her willingness to compromise on the whole bending of the knee and just actually kind of accepting the help from Jon. Now she has a reason to. She lost some strength. Jon Snow can provide some strength and information, more information than strength, really. So I think that, it's one of those, God closes the door, opens a window. Well, now there's a reason for Jon and Dany to actually link up because she just lost some strength.
She did, but I think, to me, from how I see it, if we are sticking to, we lost half the army as a fact, right? This isn't a chunk, and they kind of come back to Dragonstone to be like, yeah, we got fucked up on the way over there. We can't go over there. Right. I'm assuming that's not going to happen, right?
Probably not. Yeah.
She still has this massive army, and I would say, based off of what Lady Olenna said, based off of her being a Targaryen, we've already seen her talk crazy shit. So she's capable of it. I'm wondering whether or not this will just piss her off, instead of it be a thing where it's like, okay, let's try to make these allies and this and that. Let's try to keep moving the chessboard around. This might be a thing where she looks at Tyrion and is like, look, motherfucker, you told me we were supposed to do this shit, and look what happened. Okay, I'm gonna hop on these dragons and I'm gonna go handle some fucking business.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like that could very well happen.
It could. Sure. I think it's also more important now than ever. Now they really got to sack Castle Rock. Like that's going to be their counter, and I'm hoping that's what I'm calling it. I think that's going to be the opening scene of next week. Castle Rock.
Well, look, we did see on and that's another good point actually. And now you kind of reminded me that they're all probably moving in unison.
Yeah.
So they probably don't even know what happened, and they might not even get word for a while. But and let's be real, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even fucking matter, really. Danny would probably just be like, huh, They fucking just roll. You know, she could do that and still make sense.
Right.
But
let's
we saw on the preview of the next commercial or the next episode.
I didn't see it.
Okay. Well, do you want me to tell you?
Oh, tell me. Yes. God, give it to me, Daddy.
The preview, the next one, Jon Snow arrives. Dany's on her throne, and they kind of walk in. So next episode, he's at Dragonstone with Davos. So he made it. And we also see some fight scenes in Casterly Rock, and the actual Unsullied were going into the castle. So remember, and I don't think they did show the preview with the dragons burning anyone on the field, which were Lannister soldiers, in that one trailer that we saw for the whole season. Remember that shit?
Yeah,
where they had the dragons on the burning field, and they were burning all the soldiers alive. We didn't see that for the next episode.
Oh, you didn't see that?
We didn't see that.
Okay.
No, but we saw them invading, or we saw them breaching the walls of Casterly Lock and going toe-to-toe with them in the fight, but that's all we saw, was a brief snippet. We didn't see any fire or anything, so that might happen later.
Yeah, it might. Let's talk about the Theon scene, because that's probably, aside from the Nymeria scene, it's the most talked about scene in the entire episode. Theon going full reek, going back full reek for the first time really in a while, jumps off. I got to be honest, he did the right thing. What could he have done? Die? That's the only thing he could have done. Live to fight another day someday. Yeah, it's his sister, but he's broken, and I know that they're going that hard, but what else could he have done? I don't know what he could have done. The only thing he could have done is die. He didn't. It wasn't just Euron that was left. There was other soldiers there, so he jumped.
Yeah, but that wasn't the reason why he jumped.
No, he jumped out of cowardice.
Fucking dead on Dave.
No, I know why.
No, that's why not.
Huh? I know why he jumped. He became full reek again, and it was that broken character. He's cowardice. He's broken. He's fragile. I get that. But what else could he have done? Even a rational thinking man, what could he have done there?
You're right. No, you're right. 100%. I'm just saying the way they told the story, which you understand too. But I mean, I think there is not. I mean, when you have soldiers walking around and they're taking trophies, and this guy is telling you to come get some, and you're like, what? You know, like, even if you weren't Reek, maybe that would have been a good option. But I think in the real world, if you didn't pussy out and do that thing, if he wasn't Theon, they probably would have kept shooting arrows at his ass in the water until they got him. You know what I mean? Because that you can't leave a threat like that alive. But he's so fucked up that he's almost like nothing. You know, exactly. He's so broken that there's nothing. He doesn't care. You know what I mean? He's like, he's nothing.
It was a heartbreaking scene nonetheless. It really was, because the relationship with Theon and Yara it's been a kind of a saving grace for Theon, because Theon's done so much fucked up shit throughout the course of the show that you want to hate him so badly. I mean, he is the guy who's fucked up a lot for the Starks. So to see him a little bit of a redemption and the relationship that they've had with Yara, to see him kind of betray her in a sense out of his own cowardice and going back to everything that he's been broken, I thought that was a really good way to kind of a fitting end for Yara. No good deed goes unpunished in Game of Thrones, man. She went to bat for her brother and died because of it. It's I don't know.
Sad. It's fucking sad.
It's fucking crazy.
It was a sad scene when he dropped that. When he dropped his sword, I was like, "Oh, damn, you bastard! Damn, I cannot believe you."
Cliffhanger right off the boat and just jumped. I love that. One thing before we wrap up, go to questions and all that stuff, I wanted to go back to something that I forgot about earlier. Jon Snow in the town hall when he's talking to all the lords and everything. There's an important line that's uttered that is going to come back later in the season. I feel they reference you can't trust a Targaryen. And he says it directly to Jon, who does not know he's a Targaryen. Now that Sansa is in charge of the North, you have to figure soon Jon is going to learn his lineage. When he does, there's no going back. They're never going to trust him when they find out he's a Targaryen. That line may have changed things fundamentally for Jon's role on the show going forward. His alliance now is more with Dany, who is, of course, related to him as a Targaryen. So I thought that was an interesting thing, because the entire room was like, fuck the Targaryens. Fuck them right in the beard. And, there was a lot of that in this episode, going back to the Mad King and all that, and kind of everybody just shitting on the Targaryens. I thought that was kind of important. It might have been a throwaway line, but I doubt it. I think there was more importance to it than that.
Yeah. Jen T-Bone. Yes, I am sitting down. Thank you very much for noticing.
Hey, you notice I said the first thing I said to Vega when he came on, I was like, I've never seen you sit down before. First time. First time. I didn't know you were capable.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you were able to.
I had to take a seat for this one.
I'm glad that you did. All right. So final thoughts on the episode, and then we'll jump over, see if there's any calls to be taken on the old Discord, and then we'll wrap it up.
It was amazing. I would prefer more tits, maybe a little bit more booty. But I don't know. You know, I loved it, of course. After the episode, I just fired it back up and I watched it again, and it was just as good.
Back into it.
Yeah, I'll watch every episode every week twice just to make, because you already know what's going to happen. So you kind of, I personally think I miss a couple of things in sentences that they're saying, and then you kind of go back and you're like, I get it. You know, like, I don't know. That's how I am sometimes.
No, I'm with you. You want to go take some questions in Discord?
Go for it.
Good shies. All right, so I'm going to disconnect with you here on Skype. We're going to go over to Discord. If you want to come to Discord and ask some questions about Game of Thrones or give your opinions, thoughts, whatever, spoilers, whatever you got, go ahead and jump in the waiting call. We'll take some questions, and we're going to get up out of here. I'll talk to you in 2 seconds, Mr. Vega.
All right.
Sweet. I don't want to stay on Skype just in case it does not work. I don't know if it will. So let me put a little graphic in here to... we'll go ahead and we'll throw an advertisement in there because why the hell not? I didn't have it already set up, but so forgive me on that. But let's go ahead. Well, yeah, you can use Dead on Dave as a promo code at WrestleCrate.co.uk, and you'll get a free autograph of a wrestler or a DVD. A DVD if you use promo code Dead on Dave at WrestleCrate.co.uk. You can find the link in the description box. So there you go. There's a nice little reminder of that. Let's go to the chord of this. Vega, you here with me, my friend?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it. Let's start with Critical Mess. He's been in here for a while. Critical Mess, what do you think about this episode of Game of Thrones? You're talking with Lord Vega and Dead on Dave.
I think I have a new favorite character.
Ooh.
Euron. He is fucking awesome.
He was badass, yeah.
Like in the previous series, like I don't really think he had a big enough role, and I think he was kind of a shallow character. But this series, he's really come in. He's being that pirate, and he's just taking shit and being an absolute badass. He was really good in this episode. You cockless coward.
You cockless coward. Yeah, that was a good line.
Yeah.
He's not a guy to, like, I kind of thought there was a chance that he was going to be a throwaway character, the all bluster and then another failing of a man, because sometimes Game of Thrones does like to go heavy on the girl power stuff, but that got destroyed in this fucking episode. All the girl power fucking hippy dippy shit and all that stuff, like, yeah, rah girl. Nope. Got shut down in this episode in a big way. And fuck me sideways.
Do you guys really see it as hippy dippy shit? Like, to me,
at times
I see it as they earned it, and I don't even notice a difference. I don't even give a shit if it's a woman or a guy. I get it. Like, I see that they're women, but it looks right. Like, they did it correctly.
It felt like that scene last season when they were all in Dorne sitting around, and and then Varys, who by the way is cockless. That's not for no reason, by the way, enters the room and is the only male in the fucking room. That I thought that was a little ham-fisted. I don't typically think that they do anything with type of agenda. It's just at times it feels like they do go a little heavy with the girl power type stuff, and that was one of those. But they shut me up because they blew it the fuck apart this week. They blew it to shit.
I don't know. I disagree. I never ever felt like there was any kind of like agenda or trying to please people. No, if that was the case, there'd be a lot more black people. There'd be a lot more, different kinds of everything, on the show.
Well, girl power is really big right now in the world at large. I mean, it's everywhere. There's woman movements everywhere. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be. That's not my point. But I'm just saying it seems like they were going in that same vein. And I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. Yeah. I just felt in a couple of instances, it's been a little ham-fisted, a little heavy-handed.
It has been a bit jarring with the whole thing with them going on saying that, like, don't listen to these men.
Yeah.
Be a dragon, raw.
Well, that's her thing, though. That Lady Olenna, she was the one that was running everything, Yeah. But anyway, yeah, you're right.
But still, no, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm right. It's something that it just felt to me at times it could be a little heavy-handed. For Game of Thrones, who's not really heavy-handed. The nuance is why we love Game of Thrones so much. And for times I just felt it was, but this, like I said, blew it away because they absolutely destroyed all that shit. They put the fuck craziness. That was great.
Boy,
really,
Euron spanked the shit out of those ladies, huh?
I'm so glad that the Sand Snakes are gone. They're possibly one of the worst parts of the TV show.
Agreed.
And with them just being annihilated and then the others being captured and being sent to Cersei, this is going to have a really good setup.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? While I'm watching the show, right, and I'm telling this person, yo, when they, you know how they cut from one scene to the next where the guys go downstairs, the invading Greyjoys, when the invading Ironborn come down the stairs, and then she swings, and then they cut away to the top of the ship, and Sand Snakes are going after Euron simultaneously. The first thing I was thinking, I was like, dude, and I said it out loud, dude, she's gonna be fucking those dudes as soon as we go back to that scene, because they're notorious for being like legendary fighters.
Oh, they're great fighters, yeah.
Yeah, so they're supposed to be like juggernauts on the field, and these guys are whatever, regular soldiers, you know, like. So when they come back to the scene, they just kind of just get rounded up like women, you know, with mates and shit. And I'm like, what? So I look like a retard after I said that, because I was like, watch, we're gonna go back. She's gonna be standing on top of nothing but bodies.
I mean, they couldn't even kill Jaime Lannister, and he had one hand, his fucking left hand.
Good point.
Like, it just goes to show that the entire Dorne storyline is the most wasted and the most pointless thing that Game of Thrones has done. It's the most disappointing thing that Game of Thrones has done. They've tried to save it a few times. There's been a couple of really good things, but overall, the Sand Snakes, the entire Dorne storyline was fucking pointless. And I'm sorry to say, I'm glad that it's over. Well, it's not completely
Dan
over.
and Dave realized it.
Yeah.
It's like if they thought that it was in any way good, they would have kept the Sand Snakes alive.
Because
instead,
they're
they just decided to kill them.
They can be great characters. I mean, they're so fleshed out in the books, and the reasoning behind that's the disappointing thing. If you're a book reader, you're really pissed off about the Sand Snakes because they're awesome in the fucking books. Awesome, and Dorne's awesome.
I think they kind of, I don't know. I'm not a book reader, so as far as like, so I personally just thought the only thing that pisses me off, like how you're saying it, is the way I'm disappointed with Dorne is the way they talked about it in some of the scenes early on, where they were like, Dorne is the only place he never conquered. Like he couldn't conquer Dorne, and I'm like, wow, those must be some badass motherfuckers. But then we go down there, but I think the saving grace for me, where I'm like not so disappointed and don't really care about Dorne, is because they told the story so half-assed and not really give a fuck that I don't care. You know, like whatever, they're gone.
It was kind of a buddy cop movie with Bronn and Jaime, and they just kind of went there and had their like a pally moment around there, and it was just complete nonsense.
Just palling around on the
Bronn
beaches.
and Jaime were amazing.
They're
Bronn
always
and Jaime
good.
should do a cop movie.
We need another Bronn and Jaime fucking scene this season. Cannot happen soon enough. Holy God.
By the way,
direction I'm looking forward to with Jaime is with Brienne. That's going to be awesome.
Ooh, that'll be good.
Oh, you know what? You just reminded me. I was thinking of the theory with Brienne and the monster when I brought this up last night. Let me ask you a question. Do you think, either one of you two, because just out of curiosity, with the whites in episode 1, we're not on episode 1, obviously episode 2, but what do you think with that one shot and what that one line was with the Hound looking into the fire, where do you think the whites are at? And what do you think their plan is? Do you think it's as simple as marching down south, or what do you think is going to happen?
Ooh.
Well, they're going to attack Eastwatch.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It seems like they're
You think so?
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Could you think of anything else that could happen?
No, but obviously you got something.
I mean,
listen, here's what we do know, right? Yeah, fucking somebody clip this shit and save it. Let me just, and you know what? You can tear me apart, right? But here's the thing. Let me spit it out real quick as quick as I can.
Hit it.
By the information we have by these 2 episodes and them marching, how do we know that they're marching to Eastwatch? Well, we know that they're marching to Eastwatch, but we do know that the wall and the sea meet. Why would you march down south? Because what we know of previous knowledge is that they came south before. And they lost.
Yeah.
Right? They were defeated. I know there's different factors that played into it, you know, magically and shit like that. But
so you think they're going somewhere else? Where do you think they're going?
I think they're going to Essos to pick up some more bodies.
Oh,
Because why wouldn't the Night King freeze that sea and just march and pick up hundreds and thousands of people and just march across the sea in one giant line army? And dude, that sounds like Game of Thrones to me, motherfucker. I would fucking die if I saw that shit.
Ooh,
That's one whole season right there, dude. Because I think it's still too early.
Ooh.
And we just left Essos. That's it. We're done with Essos. No, we still have Jack and Hagar over there. We still have the Second Sons over there.
That's kind of interesting, man.
Dario Naharis. I think that's an insanely good plan because that leaves Westeros to be one full country to deal with one full threat. As simple a storyline as you can get.
That is, and you know what? It's kind of a centrist way of looking at it as well, because Westeros being the center of the Game of Thrones universe, it really will be now. That's interesting.
Strategically, it's the best possible way you could defeat Westeros, where even us as the viewers could be like, okay, well, it doesn't really matter. You got dragons now. You know what I mean? Like, that's too many people.
I mean, it's the zombie land version of it, but still, I mean, that could be very, very fucking interesting. Oh my God.
I mean, the best thing they could do is sneak over the wall, watch the battle for King's Landing, see thousands of people die, then just raise them all up and fight them.
That's another.
That'd be a great option too. But I just think that they're not. Does the Night King look like he gives a fuck about watching anything at the moment? No, anywhere he goes, he's tearing shit up. He's not doing nothing.
The only counter I can have to that, because I think it's actually a really, really good theory. Because we don't know what direction they're going to. But the only counter that I could think to it is they made such a big deal over the fact that Bran carrying that mark is so important because it's allowed the king to go places that he wasn't able to go before. And the one thing that has kept the whites out has been the wall, which Bran just crossed. I think the wall crumbling is such an important thing that's going to happen that I think that they kind of have to go that route. It's the only counter, and it's a weak counter in some instances, because I think that if he freezes the goddamn ocean, it'd be one of the greatest things we've ever seen on television. So I kind of want to see that.
Think about this though. Kind of think about this for a second. We do have something that we are about to have eyes on the White Walkers with the wildlings going over there with Tormund, right?
Yep.
If you think about it, they're going to get slaughtered. That is not even a challenge to the White Walkers.
Yeah.
You can send over 100,000. We've already seen them get decimated at Hardhome with 100,000 people.
Yep.
Sending them over there to go defend the castle, fuck off. That's nothing. These things are going to crawl on each other, go over the walls, and just decimate them. So to me, if they were to employ that, I mean, it's a long shot, but if they were to employ that kind of them showing up to the castle, because it's right on the sea, right?
Yeah.
If they show up to the castle and they witness them just bypassing the castle and going straight over to Essos,
yeah.
I mean, that to me just sets it up for the next season for another 20 million people on planet Earth to watch the show.
It actually makes a lot more sense because for one, I don't think that we're going to get rid of Tormund that easy. Because it seems like when they sent him out there, it's a death sentence, but he's a really beloved character. I don't think he's going to go out that easily, especially in kind of a side area where it would be the first line of defense. I don't see that happening. So I think you might be 100% correct.
I think it's a very lame way.
It's not. I love this because it's like I can see the scene in my head, like all the tension of seeing the walkers start to come like down on the castle, and then they just fucking left turn and go right across the fucking ocean.
Dude, the way I see it is Tormund gets there and they're like, all right, let's get ready. They're coming, and then they just see the Night King just put his hand on the water and freeze it, and just start walking, and it's like, whoa.
Vega.
And guess what's over there in Essos?
What?
That homeboy found dragon eggs.
Oh yeah.
Who's to say that the Night King doesn't know since he's magical and this crazy
zombie
creature?
Dragons.
Oh, I think we're gonna get a zombie dragon. It's gonna happen.
Remember that we saw, I think they were fan made, but who the fuck knows? Like for real, we did see ice dragons.
Yes.
On some of the promotions, and I know it was very, very professionally made. You know what I mean? Like I could go on for a month to try to make something like that, and I couldn't come close to it. Like that was very well done.
That's a pretty damn good theory, man. Critical Mass.
That would make it a lot more interesting if we had ice dragons. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be so one-sided.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Critical Mass, you got anything else?
Somebody clip that.
Well, the wall will definitely fall at one point. Like there's going to be like a massive scene where that's just going to crumble down.
Yeah.
And there's also that was a very weird sex scene this episode.
The muff eating? You didn't like the muff eating? I love the muff eating. It was great. They filmed it beautifully.
What kind of enjoyment does he get out of that? Like, he doesn't have a dick.
Pussy. It doesn't matter. Eating pussy, dude. Something that's love of a woman. Her before him. Eating pussy is great. Doesn't matter if you have a dick or not.
Think about it. Critical Mess. Think about it, dude. This isn't a guy that fucking has a lot of options in life with women.
Right.
He's found a woman that is invested time. She loves him. You know, like he's gonna do anything he can. He's already described in just a beautiful monologue of how much he cares for the first time for another human being that she is his weakness. So he doesn't give a fuck about that shit. You know.
This is not an embarrassment question. This is anything like that. Have you ever eaten pussy before, Critical Mess?
Yeah.
You have. There is something powerful when a woman shudders around your face. When you can feel her thighs shuddering around, that's a powerful fucking thing. I'm sorry. I love eating pussy. I thought that was great. And I love the way that they filmed it. I'm sorry, man. I was like, yeah. And you could tell she was about to shudder.
I want to close out the wall thing.
Okay.
To me, if they were to go the route that I was saying, it would not only make sense is to describe how Game of Thrones is, where we could sit here for hours and talk about how one particular story is going to play out. Game of Thrones almost always, because they pay off a lot of the online theories as well, because they need to, because it is kind of obvious.
Yeah.
But the wall coming down, I think, to me, for them bypassing them or bypassing the wall entirely, and the wall never does crumble, to me, it would be 100% in line with how Game of Thrones plays the game with its audience.
But
it's not a disrespect.
There'd be a throwaway, though. There'd be a throwaway. The whole scene where Hodor dies, the reason why Hodor even dies is because the magic of that protected area where the three-eyed raven lived was dead because of fucking Bran getting touched by the king in a vision and getting that mark. They made such a big deal over that being the reason why they could enter that place for the first time. It would be a throwaway if they don't give us a payoff with the wall falling, because the magic is what's kept it up.
Yeah, they've put a large emphasis on the wall having magic, which keeps them out as well. And with that crumbling, with Bran going over it, they're just gonna absolutely fuck them up.
Well, also think about the power that it would inject into that army to go over to Essos, which is a hop, skip, and a jump. You know what I mean? At that point up top, where if they go over there and they do start to pick up a massive army over there, and potentially going to Valeria or Old Valeria and picking up, stone men, dead stone men, and fucking and ice dragons, like the potential of the season after this one of becoming every episode is a fight for everything. Every episode would be a fight for the world. You know what I mean? How are we going to defeat this? I don't know. To me,
it definitely
just
changes it changes the scope.
Wall.
No, I agree with you. It does change the scope. It's a much bigger scope, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be. I think they're going to.
I would love it.
It's all about execution. It's an interesting story. I think that you might be onto something. I just want to. I guess I want to see the wall fall. I want to see it. I think visually it'd be amazing.
I would sacrifice
that'd be a very good scene.
I would sacrifice that to watch him walk across the ocean, because that'd be the first fucking thing.
You make a good point, sir. You make a good point.
The first fucking thing, you don't even need to explain that. You just have to say, they're walking across the sea, guys. What do you think's gonna happen? Like, the audience would be like, what do you think's gonna happen, bitch?
So who else thinks that Euron is Azor Ahai?
I think you're alone in that one.
I think he is the prince that is promised. He will kill the Night King, and no one will see it coming.
Who are you talking about?
Euron. He thinks Euron's going to kill the Night. I think Jaime's going to kill Euron before this season's over.
Listen, guys, let's be real here. Let's be real. The fact of how we've come for 7 years, and how the story's told, and what characters are left, and how developed they are, almost anyone can be Azor Ahai at this point.
And that's what that whole little thing that they did with Melisandre, by uttering that line, the correction to the prophecy. That's exactly what they were saying when they did it. Anybody could be the prince that was promised. But Melisandre made it pretty clear that she feels it's still Jon Snow.
You also have two great people that are described almost to the point where you're like, that's them. is you have, of course, Dany. Actually, 3 people. You have Dany, then you have Jon Snow, which are 2 huge possibilities, and then you have one that's not very prominent in the series, but he fits the bill as well, and that's Beric Dondarrion. He has a flaming sword.
Oh yeah, he's very.
He has a flame, which we saw in the trailer that he does light it on fire for this season again. He lights it on fire, and then he's prepared to fight, and he's in the snow.
And,
so
he's the one guy who fucking he has all this ability, and nobody can explain why he's special, why he keeps getting resurrected. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's only 2 people who's been resurrected to our fucking knowledge. That's Jon Snow and fucking Derek, whatever his name is, who's been resurrected many times. There's got to be a reason for it.
The dragon has 3 heads.
Yeah.
Beric Dondarrion, Daenerys, and Jon Snow.
Ooh, so you're bypassing the Tyrion theory, huh?
Yeah, Beric Dondarrion. He's a very special man. He's being kept alive for a reason. And you brought up a very good point there. I think that he could be one of the Azor Ahais.
Could be.
Of all there are.
Could be.
Also, we haven't seen Dawn. You know, we haven't seen that return, and we also haven't seen her father.
Yeah. Which is
the only other living person other than Bran that knows Jon Snow's origin. And he supposedly anyway, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, chat and Critical Messer Dave, isn't Dawn at his house?
They've never really explained where that is.
I think from what I've seen online anyway, they said the last known location was around his actual keep or whatever. I think if I remember correctly, I don't know if the show's going to do it, but I know online they were talking about it, and I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's a weird one. I don't know. We'll look into that. Critical Mess, I appreciate the call, man. Anything else? Final thoughts?
Good call.
Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for having me on.
No problem.
Have a good time.
Take it easy.
Yeah. Good call.
All right, we're gonna rock this next call, and then we're gonna get out of here. Went a little longer than I thought we were going to. I apologize for that. Let's go ahead and Vanguard.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Final call of the night. Hey. What do you got for us, man? Talking Game of Thrones with Lord Vega and Dead on Dave. What do you got?
Vanguard, you better say something about them White Walkers going across the sea, man. I want to hear your disappointment here.
Oh, do you? Well, something about the White Walkers is that. Did you guys know that Jon and Beric are actually whites?
Technically, I guess you would say, yeah.
Yeah, they were just brought back with fire instead of ice.
Yeah, technically.
Oh, okay.
So wouldn't they be Reds then?
I suppose that you could call them Reds if you wanted to.
Could call them Reds.
If we needed to call them something, we call them Reds.
We'll call them Reds.
Sure.
Now, is that interesting enough to be like they can't? Well, can they be taken? Well, no, actually they can't because, or what?
They don't have to breathe.
Well, actually,
that's what George R. R. Martin said.
The Night King and him went face to face, but he wasn't resurrected at that point, was he?
No, he wasn't.
Ah, of course, yeah. So yeah, we don't even know what's going to happen in the next encounter because if technically they're dead, maybe the Night King can take over their bodies.
Or maybe he can't.
Well, they're brought back with the power of the Lord of Light.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe he can't because maybe he can't be turned into a White Walker because of the fact that he was brought back by fire.
True. Also, fucking. Oh fuck! I just lost a thought. Damn it.
Well, you seem pretty confused when I said Jorah might be Azor Ahai.
Yeah. No, not confused. I just don't believe it.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, because there are a lot of theories out there.
Yeah, Jorah seems very. That's a long shot to me. It feels like a long shot.
He seems pretty dead at the moment.
Well, I don't know. They're going through great lengths to try to short. I don't think they're going to kill him. He's not dying of grayscale. Like Jorah's not dying of grayscale. I do feel he's more important than that. He's not dying of grayscale. He's going through a hell of a lot right now. We'll see what happens.
Oh, what got me the most about that scene though was that he wasn't allowed to scream.
That was great. That was great.
Amazing acting. Amazing.
And that Sam actually stops to tell him, "You motherfucker, you cannot scream."
I keep telling you can't scream. He's like, I know, but it hurts. I can't. I'm like 50 years old. I'm getting too old for this.
Yeah.
Oh, but one thing I did notice is that Davos is going with Jon to meet with Dany.
Yes.
And Melisandre is there.
Yep.
And he did say next time. No, that's next time I see you in the north, I'll cut your head off.
Yeah.
Technically, he won't be able to do shit with Dany around because Dany is technically the queen.
Let him do shit. Yeah,
another thing I'd like to see is a White Walker Hodor.
Oh God.
Oh shit.
That'll break some
Didn't
hearts.
even think about that. Didn't even think about that.
We're still people are still trying to debate if we saw a White Walker Yan last week.
No, it didn't. Ramsay
no.
shot. It has one eye, sure, but Ramsay shot the other eye.
Ah, okay.
And we know that these guys, they are really, really good with continuity.
Yeah,
they're
are
really good.
They
and also, we can go ahead and mark off that necklace on Melisandre because she didn't have it on.
Did she?
So
not
that's
have
not
it
really
on?
the source of her power to be young.
Did she not
didn't
have it on?
No, and she also didn't have it on in the tub. At one point.
Oh, yeah, she didn't have it on the tub.
Stannis' wife.
True, yeah.
Yeah, so and they never mentioned that. Dan and Dave never said that's the source of her power. They just kind of don't even answer the question, you know.
Yeah, that's weird. That's interesting.
Maybe they're trying to keep it as mysterious as possible.
That's a tough one, man. It's gonna be interesting to see where it goes. What else you got, Vanguard? Anything else?
What else have I got? I like how Sansa is starting to look and act way more like Cersei.
Yes, yeah, I can
That's
see that
great.
a little bit. Yeah.
And it also makes sense. Perfect sense.
Well, I mean,
she
they
can't
hit
be
it
like
last
Brienne
week.
wielding a huge.
Remember, they hit it last week because John said, I think it was John who said to her, "It sounds like you almost admire her." When they were talking about Cersei, and he says, "It sounds like you admire her."
Yeah, when he got a letter from her telling him to bend the knee.
Yep.
Yeah, but like Sansa realizes, okay, the only way I'm gonna be taken seriously is being a bitch queen from hell, because I can't be like Brienne. I can't wield a big battle axe or a big sword, so I'm gonna have to be a femme fatale.
I don't know, dude. Do you know the prophecy by heart, or at least you know a little bit of it? I know that it's a flaming sword. You know, that kind of deal, but you know, we never know. He could light it on fire and just hand it off to Jon Snow. It'd be a cop out, but technically, you know, it would work.
Yeah,
it does feel like there's going to be a greater payoff than just doing the obvious and it being Jon or Danny. But I don't know. I really don't. It's Game of Thrones.
Since it's Game of Thrones,
sacrifice themselves.
Since it's Game of Thrones, I think it could. It's a toss up. Who, for all we know, Sam could sit on the Iron Throne by the end of this whole and everybody else.
I want to bring education to all the kids, so that'd be a pretty good deal for everyone.
And almost everybody that's a main character, other than the ones we know are probably going to die, like Cersei, you know, like the evil people. Yeah. I think almost everybody that's a main cast member that could possibly sit on the Iron Throne, I think the audience would be satisfied.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like everybody has a huge fan base.
Two big visuals that I'm expecting to see, and not to go back to the wall, but seeing the wall crumble and the Iron Throne get melted by a dragon. Those are two things I am expecting to see before the end of the series.
John did say, okay, I'm going to leave this to you. Don't knock it down while I'm gone, or something along those lines. Knowing John's luck, that's probably going to happen.
Well, I think this is the last we're going to see Jon Snow ruling the North. I just... We'll see. I don't know.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I think that Targaryen remark was too. It was too poignant. One, I think the event. Look, it's going to come out that he's a Targaryen. I think once that happens, he's not ruling the North anymore.
As soon as Bran reaches Winterfell, pretty much.
Well, I don't see how that could play out though. Like, what's he gonna do? He's gonna show up and be like, "Hey guys, guess what?" You know, like I don't see how that conversation would play out to where it's a benefit.
I think it kind of goes through. There's no reason for him to return anyway, you know, and maybe it's as simple as a conversation through Raven between him and Sansa, where she just tells him, "Don't return." I don't know. I feel like why go that heavy-handed on the Targaryen hatred? Knowing that Jon's a Targaryen. They said it to Jon, we know is a Targaryen. I just feel like that's not a throwaway line. So I don't see him coming back.
I think a lot of these lines too are meant for that setup. You know what I mean? They're meant to set something up to where we're doing exactly what we're doing right now. We're saying, "Oh, there's no way. There's no way," and then they come up with a way to where we're like, "It makes sense." You know,
we'll
like
see.
Fuck, it does make
sense.
sense.
A lot of them could be red herrings, though.
Could be. Could be.
Well, speaking of prophecies, I think Dany might marry Jaime. Because remember when she went to Maggie the Frog, and Maggie the Frog was just like, "Oh, a younger, more beautiful one will take everything you hold dear." Like Dany's already plotting to take away the kingdom. If you think about it, what else does Cersei have?
Dany and Jaime. That's an
like,
interesting one.
Well, like Dany's already plotting to take away a kingdom from her. Like all of her kids are dead, her father's dead. Like Castle Rock's about to be destroyed. Like what else does Cersei have?
I mean, there's not much to fucking
There's not a lot of gain there.
I don't see. There's not a development. And again, we're falling into a trap again, right?
Yeah, because no, you know what? I'm gonna kill it with this. There's no way a Targaryen's marrying a Lannister. There's no way. I can't. That one I cannot believe.
You've convinced me that.
Cannot.
Well, I'm sure someone back in the day said there's no way a Stark is gonna marry a Targaryen or have a kid.
Yeah.
Good point.
And then Jon was made.
I'm
sure a lot of people died, so maybe they were right. Maybe it was a bad idea.
A lot of people think, and I'm seeing in the chat now, Jen Falatter, and I've seen it in other places as well, that Jon and Dany might get married. Because incestuous, it makes a lot of sense because that bridges everything. But again, that kind of flies right into the face of my theory that Jon's not going to be the ruler of the North much longer. But I don't know. I love all this. I think it's going to be great. I think that's why Game of Thrones is so amazing.
Oh, this season 7, like the first 2 episodes, it's easily been the best season for me. Just watching Euron just come down on that huge hammer and just like
oh, so amazing,
great.
Well, let me ask
you. You're gonna kiss.
And look at how many little veins that we have. Like we haven't even mentioned the fact that Bran is now probably the most powerful warg in the world.
Three-eyed Raven, yeah.
And like he can warg into human beings. Like, that's
he can not only warg into human beings. We're not even we know for animals for sure. What makes you think that Bran doesn't put a halt to all this bullshit by taking over 3 dragons?
Yeah,
he could do that, but I still because here's why I don't think it's going to happen.
Fly.
Here's why
exactly.
That's true. That's true. But here's my one worry with all that because it takes away my whole thing that Bran is the worst person in the world. Bran has fucked everything up. Dude, because Bran's incredibly powerful. Theory.
I like that one. Like he's the one that was whispering to the Mad King.
Exactly. Bran's so powerful. He's already shown on 2 separate occasions that he can alter things in the past. And that means everything's his fault. And
those two, you're talking about him shouting to Ned and
Hodor, of course.
And Hodor, yeah.
I mean, you also have the fucking well, what you were saying with him going back in time. I don't know if we talked about this in private or last week.
I think we talked about it last week. Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been one of those things where he was like trying to tell the Mad King because we know that he doesn't know what happens historically, right?
No.
Jamie, and a couple other people know what really happened behind the scenes, and Bran never got that story. Yeah. So maybe
all Bran heard was, this evil Mad King. He went around killing everybody, and
he heard the stories. Nobody knows about the burn them all.
He heard Ned Stark's viewpoint of it, and that's it.
Yeah, so if he goes and he wargs into, someone in the past or the Mad King and is like, hey, you need to burn them all, and Mad King goes crazy.
Yeah, you got to burn all the White Walkers. You got to burn the White Walkers. Build all this wildfire. He's like, burn them all, burn them all.
I think that's exactly why the wildfire is created, because Bran is telling the Mad King to create it. I think that's exactly what's happening.
I like that theory.
But it drives.
The Three-Eyed Raven did warn him that you can't. I think he told him that you can't influence the past.
Nope.
Because you can't influence the past. If you do something in the past, it's already happened.
Yeah, it was supposed, and that's one of those. This is why time travel sucks, because of that line, it's already explained that it was supposed to happen anyway. So it's one of I hate time travel.
It just kind of cheapens everything the brand does. It's, it doesn't matter. It's already happened.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. All right, Vanguard. Final question I'm going to ask you, Vega, and the entire chat. First 2 episodes, a lot of talking. Is it too much? Or is it just enough? There is some complaints, believe it or not, about the lack of action in the first 2 episodes. I know Vega's answer. Vanguard, what do you feel?
Well, I think it definitely evens out with all the action that's going on as well.
There was one.
I think the short action-packed scenes easily make up for it.
It's enough. Okay, fair enough.
In my opinion.
It's perfect.
It is. It's a perfect match. Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
Knowing Qyburn, I think those arrowheads with the big ballista things, I think they're probably going to be coated in something nasty like poison. Knowing Qyburn.
Wouldn't shock me at all. That dude is always, he is not fucked up yet. We'll see what happens.
Qyburn isn't fucked up. Really?
No, I don't feel he has. Every plan that he's had has fucking worked perfectly.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm. Right.
He's doing awful. Don't get me wrong, but
that's what I meant.
Everything that he's done has worked flawlessly. He created a fucking zombie, dude. He's doing everything perfectly. The only other person to make a zombie is fucking the Night King.
The Night King. Yeah.
So he's doing okay.
And he did his with fucking science, bitch. He didn't need any magic whatsoever.
Fuck magic. He did it with science, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
Had a couple
science.
too.
All right, Vanguard. You have a good night, man. Thanks for calling in.
Kyburn the Science Guy coming to CBS
That's
soon.
that's one of the spin-offs. Is Kyburn.
Hello there, everybody. I'm Kyburn, and today we're going to be learning how to reanimate a human.
That's good.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Wear glasses. Don't wear your protective glasses. Do not forget. All right, Vanguard. Take it easy,
that's
buddy.
great. Thank you so much.
No
for having
problem,
me.
man. Good stuff, man. Vega, much longer than I anticipated going, but Jesus Christ, I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface, to be 100% honest. Fuck.
Yeah.
But hopefully you guys enjoyed all of this. Vega, final thoughts?
I can't wait for fucking next week. The one thing I'm looking forward to is the meeting between not even the Lannister thing. See, so ironically, you saying too much talk, where the one thing.
I'm not saying that it is. I feel that it's been perfect. But
Yeah,
I'm saying
well-
I've seen a lot of people who are saying it.
Yeah, just mentioning people saying it. Sorry.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm looking forward to, I know we're going to see a battle between Lannisters and Unsullied, but the one thing that I'm looking forward to is watching Jon Snow and Daenerys interact.
Dan
That's
and
the
Johnny
one thing
finally meeting.
I can't wait for it.
Cannot wait. That's going to be absolutely amazing.
You can even skip the battle and just give me that.
Just
You
give
know
me
what I
that for
mean?
an hour.
I don't need it.
Give it
I
to me
don't
for
need
an
it.
hour. Give me a Tyrion John reunion. I'm happy.
Yeah, Tyrion's. See how powerful the characters in the cast are. So powerful that the most beloved guy on the show, arguably the most beloved guy, has barely said 4 or 5 words.
Good point.
And he's been interrupted, I think, every single time.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yes.
And we're still here, like, oh my god, these fucking episodes are incredible.
It really is. Really is. So check it out, guys. For the rest of the season, we're going to be here each and every Monday as long as Vega can continue to make it. I actually feel bad that I kept you for 2 hours knowing how fucking busy you are. But still.
It's all good. I'm having fun, dude. So
I hope you did. I hope everybody else enjoyed it. Thanks to everybody who's been in the chat. You guys have been lit. Really appreciate it. Keep the conversation going in the comment section and on Twitter. You can find me at DeadOnDaveV. You can find Vega, the Lord Vega, or is it just Lord Vega? Just I can't see my.
It's on Twitter. It's the Lord Vega, and on YouTube, it's Lord Vega.
There you go. See, he corrects.
The only reason why V is on there is because some other asshole took Lord Vega.
I know, that's why I'm Dead on Dave V, and not just Dead
Yeah.
on Dave. Fucking cunts. Oh well, what are you gonna do? But let us know what you guys think is going into the future, and what you think of this specific episode. And we will see you next week for the copious Game of Thrones review.
Later, guys.
See you guys next time. Keep copious. Remember, as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. And peace.
Here's your winner,